Well, it has finally happened. The cries of the community have finally been answered by Hot Toys, and the Batman is finally released. But not only the Batman and Bat Signal, and the Bat Cycle itself. So Hot Toys kind of said, "You want it? Here's all three." And they dropped all three on you. So let's take a look at everything. Hey everyone, Mr. Mom Collectibles. I am back with another video, and today I just wanted to give a quick look on the final release of the Batman, Robert Patterson Batman, and Hot Toys dropped not just one, two, but all three products from this. And so you have the Batman himself, depending on what version. There was multiple SKUs. There was him by himself, him with the diorama, and Bat Signal, and then the bike was always separate. So there was a little bit of some posts going around a couple of weeks back of the cycle being released. You saw a couple leaked some photos from overseas of a couple of people that had the bike, but now, like I said, we have the official blogger photos, and we're just going to kind of go through everything. What I do want to start with is actually to give you guys kind of dial it back a little bit, because this one was pretty delayed, and by about a couple months, probably about 2 months, 3 months, I believe. And so what I did was, I kind of want to give a little history on this, so to speak. So I'll bring this up so you guys can kind of take a look. But the prototype announcement happened on March 4th of 2022. And this is the photo that you see right here, which is the prototype. And then on March 23rd, only a few weeks later, they actually did an updated post where they gave a bunch of updates. Now, obviously, the whole thing which we're going to get into is the whole Hot Toys InArt. I believe this is the figure that literally spawned the phrase, "I'll wait for InArt," because, InArt has theirs coming out. And so a lot of people will argue that, typically when Hot Toys does updates to their figures, it's within a few months to maybe a year's difference, but they kind of, a little couple weeks later already doing updates to it. So obviously I do think that was in a response to InArt, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just, it's like, teams are trying to step their game up against each other. So at the end of the day, I think it's just best for collectors. Whichever version you got, Hot Toys, InArt, or both, I mean, collectors are winning right now. So the updated announcement came with updated hair. The updated hairstyle and swappable had two different, you do two different hair swaps, which now a lot more of the figures are coming with now. Body physique update and suit color, detachable batarang from the chest, die-cast batarang. Oops, little typo right there. Batarang. There you go. And then the eye rolling system, which now it's become kind of standard. And that was on March 23rd, 2022. And then here we have the final release, which is today, December 12th, 2023. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you guys. I do have this on order. I do. I was excited for it. I am. And I don't mean to sound negative by any stretch of the imagination, but with every post that Hot Toys was doing, you have people like, "Hey, well, where's Batman? This was arguably, I would say, probably now looking back after this year is going to be over, probably the biggest requested piece that has been on pre-order that people have wanted. I'm not talking about like a Bespin Han. People have always been asking about, Han Solo. I'm talking about a figure that's been up for pre-order that people have just been wanting. I would argue and say it's this one. It really is. Now that this one's out, I kind of hope everyone's happy, but I'm not going to lie. And this is coming from someone who has on pre-order. I'm kind of like, cool, it's out. Great. Awesome. I'm excited, but I'm not like normally overly excited as I would be for a release, just because I think this thing's kind of been beating a death on me in terms of like people just asking. And also, to be fair, it looks pretty close to the updated prototype. So there's not exactly like a huge amount of advancements they did on it. Typically when Hot Toys releases a figure, there's there might be some degradation or a big difference in the figure. But in this case, they delivered on what I feel like they did with the prototype. There's going to be some subtle changes to it. Like, I really think that the yellow here is a little extreme. I actually don't remember the suit having that much yellow standing out. I mean, that could just be something, but that is something that evidently caught my eye. I do love the setup here with the three, with the Signal, the Batman, and the Cycle. And that's another thing. Like, if you had all three of these on pre-order, this is probably close to $1,000 in invoices. So you got to be prepared. So that's the biggest. These are big ticket items. And so I'm looking at these photos, and the other thing that kind of stood out to me was I was pretty critical of the Hot Toys blogger photos over the last couple, releases about how, I wasn't really up to quality or, things like that. But I got to say, they really took their time with these ones and they nailed these photos. These photos look phenomenal. So I just want to give some appreciation to the actual photography. I mean, they just really captured the essence of this figure and the character. And I mean, there's some of these photos that they do look like movie stills. like here, I mean, the Photoshop water, I mean, this looks really great. There's one particular photo that I really like a lot, which people have been making fun of, and if I could find it, but it's gonna be him in the that, the leap when he's leaping off the building, so to speak. There's one photo here of him, jumping right here. Like, this looks like a movie still. These faceplates, they look outstanding. They really do, and I love how they replicated the poster with all the, the different versions of him. I mean, I like the release. It's a solid release. It's something that I know the community has been really anticipated about. I love the photography, what they're doing this with the figure. I think people are going to have a lot of fun with this, especially if you went all in on the deluxe with the signal and the diorama. You're gonna have so much fun posing this. The sculpt looks great. I think the hair looks so much better from the original. And like I said, there's gonna be so many options to pose this figure. I mean, I never thought that him, even without the cape on and the cowl, he looks great like this. So there's just so many options for this. And then obviously you have the cycle. I mean, this bike looks awesome. I think it's pretty versatile where it can go with pretty much anything. That's what I kind of like about this version of this Batman's car and his bike, is that they're not overly top embellished of Batman. It's not embellished with all paraphernalia and stuff like that. So you can really use a lot of the stuff with other characters. I know people that just bought the bike just because they wanted the motorcycle to pair up with other figures in their collection. So absolutely love it. Like I said, I was flipping through these photos and they did a great job selling the figure and the photography. Now, obviously, the biggest thing that's going to happen is there was this whole back and forth debate between Hot Toys and InArt. And like I said, this is the figure that kind of spawned the phrase, I'll wait for InArt. I do have some thoughts about it, which is pretty interesting. I don't think that there's like a better one per se either way. I think that, with the InArt version, if you go all in, I think it was around $1,000, give or take. I don't remember. It's been, gone for a little bit. But with that one, you get two figures plus the bat signal. So it's kind of a little bit of a trade-off. So if you put up your money of $1,000 and it's like, for $1,000, you could have this Hot Toys version where it's the figure, the signal, the diorama base, and the bike. Or if you went with the InArt version, you get the Batman, Bruce Wayne rooted, and the bat signal. So it's kind of like, I don't see it as necessarily a lose-lose, like, either one of them is better. You're just getting different stuff for your money. Obviously, the big test is going to be when the InArt version comes out. You're going to have people do the side-by-side comparison, comparing all the, the minute details and the tailoring and the color. I mean, that is inevitable. That's going to come down the road. And I think that it was kind of like a game of chicken between Hot Toys and InArt about who's going to bluff first. Someone had to release theirs first, and then the other person is going to sit back and kind of see what's going on. And I really do feel like that's kind of what was going on here, is that, Hot Toys, ultimately, they have a lot of stuff in the log, so they got to start putting some stuff out. This has been highly requested. So they're just going to say, you know what, screw it, we're done. We're going to put it out. This is what we're going to get. This is what it is. And I'm not going to be surprised. I mean, I'm not sure how far InArt is in the production process. They just been saying it's been delayed early next year kind of thing, I believe. If they've given an exact date on when that figure is coming out, you can drop it in the comments below. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know, but I do know that theirs has been pushed back a little bit. Who's to say? I'm just theorizing here. Who's to say that, they've been waiting for Hot Toys to come out and they're going to buy one of these figures? I mean, companies do it all the time where they buy each other's product just to kind of see, especially if it's a competitor. Who's to say that there's not going to be one of these in an InArt studio where they're going to be looking at it to make sure, like, oh, refining. There's nothing wrong with that, but we don't know. So obviously now InArt's going to have the latter approach to where they're going to be releasing second. But the thing about this figure, which I always thought was interesting, is that it's not like it's totally sold out, but I think people have made up their minds over it already. Meaning, if you pre-ordered one or the other or both, that's where you're going to go. It's not like you can easily just say, hey, listen, I have the Hot Toys one. I got it. You know what? I don't like this. I'm going to cancel and go buy the InArt one. There's not many places, I think, that have the InArt one available, reputable places. I'm not talking Toys Wonderland. I mean, maybe Spec Fiction, maybe, but there's not many left, like I said, in terms of, because they've been selling out. And then, like I said, with the Hot Toys one, once again, like Sideshow has these all on wait lists right now. So you'd have to check your backup site to see who's got what, but it doesn't mean that you'll have all available options available to you. I know the bike's been pretty long gone, but there might be some backup sites, if you have any that have them. But that's what I'm trying to say, is like, it's not like either figure is completely readily available that, you can make up your mind and say, I'm going to cancel this to get that. I think kind of like the battle lines have been drawn. I don't like to say it like that. I'm not trying to sound, picking sides, but if whoever bought what, they bought what they bought. And I think now it's just a matter of consumers waiting to get the product in their hands. I think that's kind of where we're at. But in terms of the quality, I mean, I like what I see. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sitting here scrutinizing over every little detail of the suit. There's a lot of things going on with it. It's more complicated than, let's say, Michael Keaton's '89 suit, where that one I can spot the differences in the suit. Like that one, I could right off the bat pinpoint which, what was updated when they did that. This one, I would have to study like, stills from the movie, pictures, things like that. If I really, but I'm not getting into that kind of detail. I'm looking at what I see at face value. I see this figure. I think the sculpt looks great. I love the swappable hair options. Kudos to Hot Toys for making that update. If you want to say it's because, InArt had theirs, that's perfectly fine. At least they responded to it and gave some, try to give their consumers the best possible product, which is fantastic, I think. I love this setup here with the bat signal and the bike and everything. And I know people have been saying stuff about the signal, that it's not the right color, that it should be more of an ambient yellow versus just pure white. That's an elective choice Hot Toys went with, probably so that the light can shine better. You never will know until you get this in hand how it reacts. But for me, the color of the light that's not a deal breaker to me. I love that the bases are USB powered, so you can power these things in and leave them on. That's great. It looks awesome, and I think that these photos really give the collector, whoever's getting these, really a lot of options to like I said, to display their figure, and that's awesome. And I think these photos, like I said, they're selling this thing. This is such a great looking figure. I'm very excited for it. But like I said, I have it on pre-order. I don't have the bike. I'll look to see if maybe there's some cancellations. I'm on the wait list for it. So if someone cancels, maybe I'll grab it. It wasn't priority for me. I have the Batman and the Signal on order. So I am excited for those. When they come in, they come in. I'm not in a rush for it because it is the holiday season after all. And this is $1,000 in invoices if you're all in, or I believe it's like $515, $550 for the deluxe with the Signal. So trust me, I'm willing to wait until hopefully after the holidays. I'm not in a rush to get these by any stretch of the imagination. But once again, like I said, it's one of those where, happy that it's out for people. I'm really excited for those. But let me know what you think in the comments. Drop a like on this video. Please consider subscribing to the channel if this is your first time. And like I said, once again, drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Are you someone who's, do you appreciate this either way? Are you, you picking this up? Do you have it on order, or are you waiting for the InArt one? Either way, I think collectors win. So, I mean, I'm happy for those who getting it. So, like I said, thank you so much for watching the video. This is Mr. Mom Collectibles. And remember, always enjoy collecting. That's what it's all about. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.